Buy this here. Sign up for discounts. Did we mention discounts? Why aren't you signing up? See mistargeted ad here. Here's another one. Look over here, up here, now down here. This is not your optimal marketing strategy. But what if you had Salesforce? With Salesforce, you blaze trails with one platform for one connected customer experience, taking customers on the one-to-one they choose. Your marketing team is smarter and more predictive about each customer with an intelligent platform integrating marketing, sales, service, and commerce. A collaborative CRM with the tools and data to make recommendations based on past purchases, or help solve issues your customers may have had with certain products, like shipping a new jacket, quickly. You can drive engagement through custom communities and connect with your customers through any device, on any channel. From social media to your connected products, gathering key insights to strengthen your relationship with each customer at every stage. Even the businesses you're marketing to, easily adjusting campaigns to help drive in pipeline. All while you get a complete view of your customer data to optimize your marketing strategy right from your phone. Discover one platform for one connected customer experience with Salesforce.
So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Marketing Focus keynote today. My name's Steve Caulfield. I'm one of the area vice presidents based here in London. Now, over the next 40 minutes, we're going to navigate you through the world of digital marketing, and in particular, connected customer experiences. Our job today is to inspire each and every one of you to think differently about what you're doing today. So we're going to listen to two fantastic customers today, and we're going to hear what they're doing in marketing today and their thoughts on 2017. We're also going to take you on a deep dive into the Salesforce portfolio and look at it through two lenses. We're going to look at it through both the B2B and also the B2C view. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take all that content and conversation and we're going to wrap it all up and in the Salesforce way, deliver it back to you in a killer, yes, live killer demo with Sinead. So, sound good? Okay. Now, before we move on, it wouldn't be a Salesforce presentation now, would it, without the forward-looking statement. So you're all politely reminded that during the presentation today, we will be making forward-looking statements. So you need to make your products and purchasing decisions based on the currently available products that are available today, which are, of course, brilliant. And if you'd like any more information on the forward-looking statement, you can get that at salesforce.com. Okay, so let's move on with the presentation. So can I have a quick show of hands who here in the audience is in marketing or a marketeer? Fantastic. Then you'll know where I'm coming from with this story here. As marketeers, you have a spectrum of ways in which you can drive your businesses. And typically and historically, this has started with broadcast marketing. Now, the challenge with broadcast marketing, though, is you never really knew who you were reaching. And this is why, over the last 10 years, we've seen the rise of digital marketing. Now, digital marketing has become the great equalizer for all marketeers out there. Whether you're a small, medium, or large company, whether you're in B2C, B2B, or doing both, digital marketing drives sales and drives the customer experience. And you can tie your campaigns back to those metrics. Because it is highly measurable. Whether it's a lead gen campaign in B2B, whether it's an abandoned cart campaign in B2C to drive e-commerce sales, or whether it's an onboarding program to welcome new customers to your and keep them engaged. But many of you in the room are now thinking about or actively engaging in one-to-one customer journeys, where you're being forced to look at your customers way beyond traditional marketing, but with every single touch point they're having with your brand. But for many of you in the room, you may not have figured this out yet. And often the challenge of getting on the path to success is the same for so many marketeers out there. Sadly, we're living in a world of silos, where our data is in many places and it's disconnected, where our teams and departments, and sometimes even our own marketing team, is working in a silo. And the channels by which we want to communicate with our customers are also disconnected. Now, this doesn't help us execute on this customer experience promise we want to make every single one of our customers. So how do we bridge this customer experience gap? Well, there are some fantastic customers that are doing this, and they're doing this really, really well. And some of these great brands are on the screen here, and of course, they are using the Salesforce platform. But they're doing this by putting the customer at the center of everything that they do. and then building the teams and technologies that look to connect around a single connected customer experience vision. And then they looked at the innovative ways in which they can drive campaigns to that customer base. So based on these trends and evolutions that we see today, what advice do we have for you as marketeers as you leave here this afternoon? Well, we think you can distill your priorities into 3. Number 1, connected customer experiences and thinking way beyond marketing and looking at every touch point customers are having with your brands. 2, people-based marketing and looking at the latest trends and developments within AI and looking at how you treat your customers as individuals, where they're spending their time and on their terms. And number 3, getting back to basics and driving the fundamentals of email, mobile, and social. So what is Salesforce doing today to help you, the modern-day marketeer, execute on this customer experience vision that you want to bring to every single individual customer that you have? So quite simply, we've created the Customer Success Platform. And again, like our 3 priorities, you can pretty much break it into 3 constituent parts. It is a world-class end-to-end CRM environment that allows you to connect sales, service, marketing, e-commerce, and apps. It is also a unified data storage environment that allows you to take all of those disparate connections that you have with your customers and unify it and keep it in one place and then activate it. And lastly, it is a world-class campaign execution engine that allows you then to take that unified data, create those one-to-one journeys, and then execute those across any device and any channel. Now, before we move on, we talked about at the beginning of the show that we were going to go through B2B and also B2C. So I'm very delighted to welcome to the stage one of our regional vice presidents who's based here in London, who's going to take you through our B2C proposition, Mr. Scott Robertson. Yeah, give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Now we're going to give you some ideas. We're going to give you some ideas about how you can utilize Salesforce technology to deliver this one connected customer experience. And if we're really, really serious about delivering that, it all starts. It all starts with mapping out the key stages of the customer life cycle and carefully thinking through how do we help our customers move through that in a seamless, coherent, frictionless way? And what capabilities do we need to help them do that? Right from awareness and acquisition through to retention and advocacy. So let's begin by looking at awareness and acquisition. The first and fundamental thing we need to get right here is effective digital advertising. $230 billion will be spent on digital advertising this year. Huge, huge number. And therefore, it's our job, our responsibility as marketeers to ensure we maximize our return from that spend, because that's what our competitors will be doing. So our customers today, Salesforce customers, are using our advertising solutions to do exactly that. They're using products like Advertising Studio to quickly and securely activate their first-party and CRM data across mobile, social, and display ads. And the more innovative ones out there are actually recognizing that if you coordinate digital ads with other channels like email, you can achieve serious increases in revenue. Second up, we have clienteling. So for the organizations in the room with a retail function to their business, this is about enabling your staff to deliver a deeply personalized service through a clienteling app, which means they're connecting the in-store experience with the rest of the customer journey. Digital commerce is next. So customers can now transact across a multitude of channels. They expect and demand a consistent experience, regardless of where they purchase on their phone, or they go into a store, or go online at home. Salesforce Community Cloud allows marketeers to unify the digital experience, regardless of the channel the customer chooses to transact on. Now we move into the onboarding and engagement phase, and it's really, really critical that here we onboard newly acquired clients well to maximize their engagement across the early days of a relationship so they feel connected and they feel understood. And the Salesforce customers are using our best-in-class messaging platform to put each of those customers on a one-to-one personalized journey, utilizing all available channels, email, SMS, push, etc., all from one consolidated platform. Next up is mobile apps. 90% of the time that we spend on our phone today is in a mobile app. That represents a phenomenal opportunity for marketeers. But traditionally, marketing have been very heavily reliant on IT and/or agencies to deliver and build those apps. But with Salesforce App Cloud, we now provide marketeers with the tools and technology to build, scale, and release these apps quicker than ever before. Next up, we have IoT. So it's expected that by 2020, there'll be over 100 billion interconnected devices on this planet. Again, another amazing opportunity for marketeers. And one example of a company innovating in this space is General Motors. So General Motors are using the Salesforce platform, so IoT Cloud and Marketing Cloud, to connect their connected cars with their community of merchants. And dependent on the location of the vehicle at that point in time, they're serving real-time messages to the drivers and passengers of that car based on their known preferences. Really, really intelligent marketing. Next up is social. Most of you, if not all of you, will use social on a daily basis. Some of you are perhaps using it right now. But the way we're using social is evolving. So for example, a lot more of us are using it for customer service queries. Social Studio from Salesforce allows marketeers to listen, analyze, understand everything that's being said about the brand online, and then publish and engage content to all available social channels. And with the integration of Social Studio into Service Cloud, we now help companies provide social customer care. Communities. One of the questions we often get asked at Salesforce from marketeers is, how best do I engage my consumer post-purchase? And communities are exactly the answer to that question. Salesforce Community Cloud allows marketeers to quickly and effectively create these engaging, intuitive, online community portals that encourage your customers, your partners, your employees to collaborate and share online, and therefore building much, much deeper relationships. And finally, customer service. We understand that long-term, loyal relationships are built on amazing customer service. As marketeers, we understand that every service interaction is a marketing opportunity. So for example, if you have a customer that has an open service case and is perhaps frustrated or disappointed, it probably makes sense that we suppress them immediately from any marketing and or advertising activities, at least until that service case is resolved. And that's the key point. Clearly, we can do each of these things in isolation very, very well, but it's the organizations that find ways to knit them together in a seamless way will be the ones that drive this one connected customer experience. So that's our B2C Salesforce for Marketing proposition. We have a lot of customers in the room today, so we're going to make a couple of platform announcements. And first up, one we are very, very excited about at Salesforce. It's Salesforce DMP. Now, we acquired the world's leading data management platform last year, a company called Crux. And what this technology allows a marketeer to do is to collect all that data, so the billions and trillions of events that are coming in from the open web and devices, and then use that data to find new audiences and new segments, and target them with one-to-one digital advertising across any channel and across any device. And the second platform announcement is around our artificial intelligence capability, some of which you would have seen in the keynote this morning. But I'm pleased to say that in the spring release of Salesforce Marketing Cloud, we bring in a lot of those AI features. A couple I'll just highlight just now. Send time optimization. So for the email marketers in the room, this takes away the guessing game of when to send that email marketing campaign, because Einstein will decide for you. And secondly, my personal favorite, Einstein Vision for Social. So what we've done is build image recognition technology into a social platform. So for example, if you have a consumer today that tweets a photo online of your product or your brand, but doesn't put the appropriate hashtag or at mention, that could be a lost moment for your brand or your marketing department. But Einstein picks up on logos, colors, and brands, and will inform the marketeer in real time as soon as that's posted online, so you can engage with that consumer. So that's a couple of platform announcements. That's a proposition for B2C with Salesforce and Marketing. We're now going to move into our first customer speaker of this session. I'm delighted to welcome one of our Salesforce customers, a large international retailer, Crabtree & Evelyn. I'd like you all to welcome on stage the Global Chief Experience Officer, Lee Woodward. Welcome to World Tour, Lee.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. So, Lee, it'd be great to start if you can share with the audience a little bit about the business and your role within that, and including how you joined the company.
Sure. Okay. Well, Crabtree was founded in '72 by a guy called Cy Harvey. He was American, and he worked with an English designer called Peter Windett. So we've always been very American and English in that way. He sold it in '96, but last year we went under new ownership. So there's a whole new executive team. with a mission to transform the entire business. I joined the business 7 months ago, and like all great roles, it came from a phone call and a beer, which is what they should all be, really. And the CEO and I had worked together previously, and we realized previously that all the things we wanted to do, we couldn't do. So if we were going to do this again, we were going to do it the right way. And so my role as CXO is really to put experience at the heart of the business and do whatever we have to do that. And that means removing every obstruction that we get in the way to putting experience first.
Fantastic. So on a strategic and a practical level, how are you addressing this connected customer experience challenge at Crabtree and Evelyn?
Well, it's really simple. Stephen had a slide earlier about silos. Okay. The first thing is we have no silos. Okay. We have no CMOs. So if there's any CMOs in the room, I'm really sorry, but we kind of got rid of that role. Because we just believe that even marketing itself is becoming a bottleneck. So my role is partly to bash down those silos and put things in place that enable us to move quickly. We talk about being digital rather than doing digital, so really be able just to move fast and fall over and fail. So that's what we're doing at a strategic level. On a tactical level, we're in the middle of a massive re-platforming program, which obviously includes Salesforce. I'm also overseeing store redesigns. So if you run out of here straight away and buy our product, it won't look any different than it has done for years. But by the end of the year, it'll be a very, very significantly different experience across the whole of the world for Crabtree and Evelyn.
Okay, so you're at the start of the journey. It seems from our conversation on the phone, you start the journey.
Yeah.
What things have you got lined up that you're going to implement in the next 12 months that are going to change that experience for your customers?
So come the end of this year, there'll be a whole new global digital platform based on Commerce Cloud with the CRM and Exact Target. And Social Studio, which is going to help us just kind of globally speak with one voice. Store redesigns. So come the end of this year in London, you'll see about 6 or 7 totally new store redesigns. And as we roll that out, and also we're going to go to China. So if you're visiting China, you'll see us everywhere all over China, because that's where our new owners are.
Fantastic. So you use Salesforce platform for marketing, for CRM, for social, for e-commerce. Yeah. Can you share with the audience why you use the Salesforce platform, why you select the Salesforce platform?
It's really simple. It's just, it's glue. It's glue. We don't want to spend time worrying about stitching things together, because that's wasted effort on getting to our customers. So the reason we use Salesforce is because it sits in one place and it all talks to each other. And so that enables us to concentrate on the things that are important. Fantastic. Which is smashing down silos and being difficult and making sure that we ask the really hard questions. Why are we doing this? Well, how does it benefit our customers? So using Salesforce takes away all of the worry about the way things talk to each other to enable us to focus on the big things.
Fantastic. And you, from speaking again, you spent a lot of years at agency side.
Yes.
You're now at client side.
Yep.
If you had to share some advice or tips with the audience on how to address this challenge that they're probably all facing, what would be your top couple?
Yeah, having spent 20 years agency and consulting side, telling clients how to do it, it's very odd to be the other side having to actually do it. Really simple. If in doubt, blow it up. If you've got any doubt over it's going to work, remove it, blow it up, and come up with something better and different. Because if you stick in the silo and go, this is the way we've always done it, we have to do this because of the P&L, we have to do this because, if you start any sentence or meeting with that, you're doing it wrong. So you have to be willing to really go back to basics and really look at why you're doing stuff. And I think you have to have great partners as well. I think you have to really trust the people that you're going to work with. No, we're a small brand. We're not Unilever. We're not P&G. And so we have to trust the people that we get to work with us. And I think you have to get them on the journey. So it's not just a technology implementation. You have to really get them excited about why you're doing it. So blow things up, ask why you're doing it, and have great partners.
Fantastic. And final question. Your leadership team. You mentioned you don't have a CMO.
No.
Can you explain that, and how does that leadership team remove those silos that you mentioned?
We argue a lot is the way that we do it, which is the best way. So I work straight to the CEO. There's a chief creative officer. There's a new product development director, and there's myself. And really, that we own the brand essentially. So, and we ensure that we are as flat and as collaborative as we can be. So we're a very matrix organization, even though we're quite small. And each time we talk to someone about, well, I'm going to hire this role, we kind of don't allow them. So it is really about trying to be as flat as we can be.
Fantastic. Short Q&A. Thank you very much for joining us today. Please get up for Lee Woodward. So as Steve mentioned at the start of the presentation, it would not be a Salesforce presentation without a live killer demo. However, before we get there, we have a video to share with you that helps set some context. Can we roll the video?
Being a sports fan is a rite of passage. It's something that ties communities and families together. Whether you're watching the game at home or going to the stadium, by putting the gear on, it immediately connects you to the rest of the fans. Being a customer-focused company is knowing what makes the customer tick, and in our case, what makes the fan tick.
We're building Fanatics to be the brand of the fan.
When someone puts a hat on or puts a jersey on, they're saying to the rest of the world that I'm with this team, and they're amplifying that pride outward.
We really want to be that one go-to place for any fan of any team and of any player.
As marketers, we are all trying to get closer to our customers. If you can build a deeper relationship with that customer, ultimately we think we can serve them better. Salesforce allows us to do that.
We understand our fans. We understand the type of products and merchandise that they really care for.
And we have tens of millions of customers, and we offer millions of products. The only way we can connect the right products to the right customers is by linking technology and data.
Sports happen, they just do.
And they just happen on the field, on the court, on ice. Those moments are hard to respond to and take a lot of reaction very quickly from a lot of teams.
Salesforce allows us the ease of use to be able to execute on that campaign anywhere.
We are able to deliver messages in the millions immediately after an event happens. What used to take days to develop personalized campaigns, we can now do within minutes.
We want to be relevant to sports fans and talk to sports fans like sports fans want to be talked to.
We're able to speak to a customer in terms that they understand, the teams that they are passionate about, that they're engaging with, and it allows us to continue to personalize our messages for that fan.
You have to honor the emotion that comes with being a fan. When you are a fan of a team, you know that team deeply. You know the players on that team, you know the history of that team, you know the ups and downs over time. We have to honor all of those things when we're talking to customers. If we do it well, customers respond better, but if we don't do it, they recognize it immediately.
With Salesforce, we have the opportunity to connect with that customer at a time that is so important to that fan. There is no off-season for us.
We are able to scale at enormous volume. 27,000 messages in a given year sent to almost 4 billion subscribers for 300 different brands, and all done with a team of 5.
That is a sliver of the scalability that Salesforce affords us. It's magic. It really is.
We used to say that we were in the business of selling t-shirts and hats, but now we're in the business of amplifying pride and creating connections.
What Salesforce has provided Fanatics goes beyond just email marketing. It's combining data, taking what we know about our customers and really building something incredibly meaningful.
So, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sinead Ellis, and I'm a Regional Vice President with the Marketing Cloud here in EMEA. Now, before we get started on the killer demo that the team have told you about, I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes highlighting some of the key statistics from that video that we've just seen. 27,000 email campaigns a year, 4 billion emails executed, and with a team of just 5 people. That's truly incredible. And Fanatics does that all powered by the Marketing Cloud. Now, I'm sure that many of you in this room can resonate with having small teams and being asked to execute campaigns at scale. These guys are a fantastic example of how to do this. So, some context for our story today. There is a Barcelona football game happening at the weekend, which is what we're going to use as the event to drive the demonstration. The demo will also feature my friend and colleague Tom Smith, who is an avid Barcelona football fan. And finally, driven over there, Tim Searle is going to be helping to drive what you see on the screen. OK, so let's get started. So as I mentioned, for the football game, Tom has a ticket to join our Spanish colleagues this weekend. But before he goes, he wants to spend some time swatting up on the latest team news, the lineup, and the league in general. So he navigates to the Sky Sports site, where he starts to click through various news articles and browse the general information. Now, this is really important because at this point, Tom is starting to share with us information about his interests as a consumer. Now, at the same time, the Fanatics team are gearing up for the game this weekend. They want to acquire new customers like Tom and drive sales of some of that remaining Barcelona inventory before the end of the season. So let's see what that looks like for me in the Salesforce DMP here. So using existing customer data sets of known individuals, I can start to build out the audience for my campaign. Here we can see the number of customers and the number of devices upon which they can be reached. But Fanatics operates the people-based marketing philosophy that Steve talked about earlier. And what this means is they want to go beyond their existing customers to add new individuals, unknown individuals, to their audiences. And they do this using the DMP. So remember all of that browsing that Tom was doing on the website? Well, that was important because all of that anonymous data is being stored right here. In fact, we track over 4 billion interactions, data from all of which our customers can use to build audience segments in the DMP. So, for example, I can take site visitors to the website in the run-up to the last Barcelona game and add those individuals, that first-party impression data, into the audience I've already started to build. I can then take second-party data, such as people who've bought a ticket to a Barcelona game this season, indicating a propensity to be interested in Barcelona merchandise, and add those individuals to my segment. And finally, I can take the more traditional demographic and lifestyle information from third parties, such as age, gender, and interests, to identify other groups of individuals who may be interested in my products. Now, with the DMP, we can take this even a step further. With Einstein-powered lookalike modeling, we can identify segments of individuals who look very much like my existing good customers and add that group to our audience segment. At every stage, we're growing the number of people that we're talking to. Taking this even a step further, with machine learning and artificial intelligence, the Fanatics marketing team can use the Salesforce DMP to source and surface groups of individuals that I would never otherwise have identified, never otherwise have been interacted with, and never otherwise been able to reach through advertising. So the result of all of this is a highly robust audience segment of individuals with a high propensity to buy. We can see here, I've extended my audience to hundreds of thousands of customers and 1 million more devices than I originally started out with. Now, as a marketer, I actually want to activate this audience to target these individuals where they're spending their time online. The segments can be activated on any marketer, publisher, or ad tech platform. And in this case, I want to reach Tom where he's spending his time browsing for information about Barcelona. So back to Tom and his experience as a consumer. So Tom's still swatting up, this time on the Sky Sports mobile application, and he comes across an advert for a Barcelona shirt with an offer that he simply can't refuse. He clicks through the advert and lands directly on the Fanatics mobile commerce site, where he can buy the shirt quickly and easily. This is all powered by Commerce Cloud. But, as with many of us, Tom gets distracted. The boss, Miguel Milano, calls with a very important ask for Tom. He needs some slides for a presentation next week, and he needs them now. Now, normally, we might view this as a failed campaign for a marketer. I've gone to all this trouble to identify Tom as a prospect, to reach him on the open web, create a targeted advert, a great mobile commerce experience, but he's gone and abandoned his purchase. But as we've seen, Fanatics is no ordinary marketing team. They think of every eventuality in the customer journey, and they own it. So in Journey Builder, the team have created their abandoned cart journey to re-engage customers just like Tom, who get interrupted or easily distracted. Journey Builder listens and waits for interactions, and based on that information, sends individuals on their next step in the journey with a brand. Using Einstein-powered smart splits, every step and every journey is optimized for the best possible outcome and the best possible customer experience. In this journey, the team want to increase conversions and create upsell opportunities for some of those products that Tom might be interested in. So they take his abandoned cart information and create a personalized email which is executed in a timely fashion through the Marketing Cloud. As a result of all this, Tom receives the email, goes through with the purchase, his shirt's on the way, and everything is back on track. Now that is until Tom realizes that he's ordered the wrong shirt. So what does he do? Well, traditionally, Tom would have to go through the website trying to find a customer service number, which is either impossible to find, or if he does find it, he can't get through to them when he needs to. But that's not the case with Fanatics. With these guys, Tom can simply take out his phone and text directly with a customer service rep, one-to-one, in real time, and that service rep is using Live Message. Live Message connected to Service Cloud means that the rep can automatically log Tom's case in the service console right here, connect it to his original order, resolve the problem, and ensure that the shirt is delivered to Tom in time for the game. So, Tom receives his shirt, he's delighted, he's on his way to the airport, he's on his way to the game, and of course, he tweets a selfie. Now, using Einstein Vision in Social Studio, the Fanatics marketing team can identify that this tweet contains the Barcelona Football Club logo and that their campaign has been successful. And this brings us to the end of Tom's current journey with the Fanatics team. He's now a diehard advocate thanks to a fantastic customer experience powered by Marketing Cloud. And that, based on the video, is how Fanatics acquires new customers and creates one-to-one customer experiences using Salesforce for marketing. So, at the beginning of the session, we kind of explained that we would look at B2B and B2C. We've seen a lot about B2C so far with Crabtree and Evelyn and Fanatics. What I'd like to do now is to hand you over to one of my colleagues who's going to talk to you about Salesforce for marketing in the B2B space. Please welcome Director of Product Marketing, Miranda Peppard.
Hi, everyone. I'm a B2B marketer. Do we have any other B2B marketers in the room? Great, great. So this is especially for you. So I'm going to talk about the Salesforce solution for B2B marketing. And if you're anything like me, your number one objective as a B2B marketer is really to drive pipeline and leads for the sales team. But we're also interested in nurturing customers. We're interested in helping sales close deals. We're also interested, of course, ultimately, in retaining and upselling that customer. So whatever your goal across that whole customer life cycle, now we're going to look at the Salesforce solution for B2B marketing. So like our B2C cousins, we also start with advertising in B2B. We drive advertising, we drive those leads into the top of the funnel to build our pipeline. But imagine if your CRM and your advertising were connected, so you were targeting prospects that looked like your best performing existing customers. Imagine how that's going to optimize your ad spend and increase your return on investment. So those leads are coming into your funnel, and you're putting them into your marketing automation. So B2B marketing automation is a fundamental B2B strategy. And we're using Pardot, our B2B marketing automation solution here at Salesforce, to qualify, score, and process and nurture that lead straight into the sales team. And that drops into the Salesforce automation, and what we're doing is we're building up a picture about that customer so that the sales rep who receives that lead on the end is fully aware of all the journey that that customer's had in the lead up to getting that lead. So they're ready and fueled for their conversations. Now, we've already created all these amazing campaigns, so why not put this content and these campaigns in the hands of your sales reps so they can drive their own nurture campaigns? And we do this with guided selling and Salesforce Engage. It's great for sales because they can be top of mind with their customer at all times, and they can see when they're engaging with that content. And it's great for marketing too, because we know that sales are using on-brand messaging. Now, as a B2B marketer, I also have a revenue target, just like sales. So I need B2B marketing analytics to be able to see how I'm performing to that target. I want to be able to look into my campaigns, pull out the best performing channels, pull out the best performing content, and ultimately increase my return on investment. Now, we already heard about great things that marketers are doing with mobile apps, and hopefully everyone here today is using the World Tour mobile app, and that's a great example of B2B marketing. But it's not just about customer-facing apps. You can also build apps within Salesforce for efficiencies, for processes efficiencies within your marketing and sales teams. something to keep in mind. And we know in B2B marketing, it's not all about glamorous consumer campaigns, right? We have to do operational tasks as well. We have to do budget and event management, so we've got apps for that. And also we need to deal with a lot of external teams. So we're constantly collaborating internally, externally with different teams. We're file sharing, we've got conversational documents with Quip. We're using Chatter to communicate with other teams. And then finally, at the end-to-end customer lifecycle, we're looking at this customer support and making sure that through the whole customer lifecycle, that person is engaged and on brand, and that making sure that our service reps are just as on brand as we are at the very beginning with our advertising. And that really is a connected one-to-one experience from a B2B perspective. So there's a customer of ours who's been with us for about 5 years, and he's doing this extremely well. And I'd like to welcome to the stage from the London Stock Exchange, Guy Brindle, Marketing Director. Hi, Guy. Welcome, welcome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the London Stock Exchange?
Yeah, so I think one of the first things to just dispel some myths about is that London Stock Exchange Group it's grown to be a large international capital markets business. So London Stock Exchange is part of that. Within the group, we've got other organizations like the Italian Stock Exchange, Borsa Italiana, FTSE Russell, big index business, and we're operating right from the US over to Australia. So it's really an international B2B operation. My role there is, in the context of this event, it's about driving best practice for our marketing in terms of sales, customer experience, and that international reach.
Great, great. Now, I know you've been doing a lot of great work over there. So tell me a little bit about your marketing automation journey and how you came into the world of marketing automation.
Yeah, so I guess I normally come across 3 types of people when I talk to people at different organizations. Some of them haven't got a system in place yet. Some of them have got things set up and working quite well, but lots of them are investing heavily in really great marketing technology, but they're just sending emails with it. And it seems that it's a common thread that I see. So about 5 years ago, what we did is we decided to go on this marketing automation journey. We picked a business area with a really innovative, excited team that really wanted to grasp the new technology. And in those days, it was much more of a new thing than it is today. And for about 12 months, we ran it in that business area as real proof of concept. And it was a great success. That business grew, it developed new techniques for marketing, and it was doing things that we weren't doing elsewhere. So from that point, what we did is we took the same technologies and we applied those across the entire group. So we now have lots of people within the organization using these technologies. And we've been building on that over the years. So we're doing some really interesting things.
Great, amazing. And I know from when we've spoken before, so you decided to implement the CRM and the marketing automation together. So would you be able to share with people your experience around that and how you kind of went through the implementation?
Yeah, so I guess choosing technologies these days it's quite difficult to do because the possibilities are almost endless. The platforms out there do so many different things. How do you go about deciding what you need to do? One of the things that we do that's probably a bit unusual that I would highly recommend is we created a great list of things that we needed to do across the organization. And that went from advanced reporting and analytics right down to someone's manager asks them to send an email. Can they log into a system? Can they create it and do it easily? And what we then did is we got these technology providers to all come in, and we said, right, show me how can we do that using this technology? And of course, the sales pitch is always about the grand dashboards and the amazing reporting that you can do. But if you're at a point in time where you need to start looking at different technologies and systems, just don't forget about the basics. Because if you've got lots of people trying to use this system, and it's difficult, and it's complicated, and they get frustrated, then you're really going to struggle to make it a success.
So getting those basics right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. And it's a big brand, London Stock Exchange. You've been working with us for a long time. You know, what are there's some people in the room here who are just embarking on their journey. Have you got any sort of top tips for them to help them get started?
Yeah, so, I mean, if you go back to the point where these systems can do all sorts of things these days, my first point would be keep it simple. So start with the basics, because these platforms are not, they used to be quite advanced in terms of marketing teams in a B2B environment. But these days, they're a foundation. If you're not using them, your competitors are. And it's going to make a difference to your marketing capabilities going forwards. So keep it simple. And don't try and over-engineer and strategize and create projects that take 2 years to implement. Which ties in, probably the second point I would make is just get on with it. Because these things are also quite quick to get up and running. And you can spend a long time planning and running big projects. But what we found to be a really successful way of getting things going is to actually, you know, turn it on, start using it. They're flexible. You can update it as you go along. You can find out what works. You can be really, really agile in what you're doing. I think the last one, this is one of the most important points, I think, for anyone thinking about embarking on this or improving the way they do it. It's about using your imagination and being the visionary. And by that, what I mean is you need to bring lots of people across an organization along the journey. And they're not going to be that excited by the functionality that you're going to build in. What they'll be really interested in is how you're going to change the way the business operates, how you're going to be able to change the way your customers are interacting with you, how you're going to help the sales teams sell better, get more information, and be more connected and build better relationships. And you need to show people stories, mock-ups, really get away from the functionality of what these things provide and into the commercial business benefits and, you know, the things you're going to deliver for people.
That's great. And I know that London Stock Exchange has a great vision. So that's all we have time for, Guy, but thank you so much. Thanks. So I'm now going to hand back to Steve for closing. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mirinda. Thank you very much, Guy and Lee. Thank you so much. It's always fantastic to have our customers join us on the stage and tell everybody just what they're doing today. So before we close, I'm conscious that we are running over and we've got people waving arms at us, so sorry. So a couple of things. Please go up to the campground, check out our marketing command center. It's fantastic technology. It shows you how we connect everything together. There's more live demos as well up on the campground. I'm also really conscious that over the last 41 minutes, not 40, we've taken you through a ton of information. So please reach out to your AEs. We would love to hear from you. If you don't have an AE, which is an account executive, you can email me, scorfield@salesforce.com. There's 804 of you in the room. I would love to have 804 emails because we would be delighted to take you on a deep dive through our portfolio. So enjoy the rest of World Tour and have a really safe journey home. Thank you for listening.